Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another movie review of this movie is brought to me by Lifetime, and it's the Keyshia Cole This Is My Story movie. So this is basically, I would say, a background look into what Keyshia Cole has been through growing up and getting into the music industry up until the passing of, may her soul rest in peace, her mother, Frankie Lyons. So let's get into it. So at this time, I believe Keyshia is had just recently turned 18. So she has this boyfriend named Jamal that she's been dating in the neighborhood. And I guess one day she decided to, she basically forgot what time it was, and she went going to her house, and her mother, well, at this time, Miss Yvonne, which is her stepmother, whatever you would call it, her foster mom basically said, listen, you ain't gonna keep coming in this house late and think you're not gonna have no consequences. So she comes in the house and she goes to her room and she starts getting this money together. And then she was getting her bag to go outside. She was like, what are you doing? She was like, I gotta go take care of something. She was like, listen, don't write a check your butt can't cash. So she ends up going outside, and that was that. So bet she goes to find her mom. Like, you can tell Keyshia loved her mom regardless of what her mother was going through. And Keyshia felt as if she can help fight the demons and take care of her mom as best as she could. Like, even at a young age, she was determined that, she was going to be her mother's keeper, when in all actuality, it's supposed to be the other way around. But hey, so she was meeting up with her mom. She took her to go eat and whatever. She gave her some money so she could make sure she get food at a later date. And, they went to this restaurant, and these kids was like, oh my God, look at her doing that crackhead dance. And the girl Keyshia went up to the boy and punched him in the face. And then Frankie was like, listen, we got to get out of here. Then the waitress was like, y'all cannot be doing that up here. And then she asked the boy, was he all right? Like, listen, one thing for another. My mom may be this, but that's my mama. Like, you gotta have some respect, regardless of what you may think, but that's my mama. So they left out of there. And then Keyshia decided to go back home. And Miss Yvonne opened the door. She was like, listen, you ain't coming up here. So she basically had all her stuff packed and was like, listen, you can't stay here no more. So basically, Miss Yvonne kicked Keyshia out because I guess she was constantly staying out late. But she was doing it all for her mom, Frankie. Like, she loves and adores her mom. Like she worships the ground that lady walks on. So she ends up calling Neffy, and Neffy said she could go stay with her because, yeah. So after that, she basically been staying from house to house, and then she ended up going to this party. I guess like one of her friends or her brother was hosting it, and she ended up seeing the boy that she used to talk to, Jamal. He got this other girl pregnant, and that was also another thing with Yvonne told her, like, listen, the people you hang out with is, like, bad company. And she also didn't want her to get pregnant and stuff like that and by Jamal. And Keyshia was like, that's not what we own. We don't even do that type of stuff. But, yeah, I'm glad, they called the quits or whatnot. So that was them. So after a while, Keyshia's been staying from house to house between her aunt, her grandmother, and nephew's house. Eventually, she goes back home. And Yvonne opens the door, and her dad is like, listen, let that baby in. She got some mail here. So they go into the kitchen and talk and whatnot. And basically, Yvonne's still on that. Like, you done broke the rules so many times and stuff like that. So the dad was like, listen, give her a break. And Keyshia was like, I heard I got some mail. And the dad went into the drawer in the kitchen and pulled out some mail. She was like, who's this from? Where's this for? She was like, listen, it's from social. He was like, it's from social services. And when she opened it, she was like, Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. She got a check for $14,000. Oh, I missed the part. While she was staying around Nephi and them houses, she also went to church. And she basically asked him to pray for it. And she's going to use her voice to help her family. So that right there was a blessing in disguise. Like, she got that $14,000. So listen, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to move back to L.A. And Miss Yvonne, you know, she being a negative Nancy. She was like, listen, that didn't work out so well for you the last time. Like, that's just that. So Yvonne said her piece, but the dad was also telling her, like, listen, let it go. Like, you got to let her go sometimes. So Miss Yvonne walked up with the attitude. And then her dad came and hugged her. Like, listen, you're going to be the best. You're going to do what you got to do. And we're going to support you no matter what, 100%. You know, she loves her just like you do. So now, after that, Keyshia, she got a car. At 18 years old, she got her own car. And she goes to go check on her mom. She was like, listen, I want you to come with me. And I'm going back to LA. She was like, the mom was like scared that she came to see her. I guess the mother was doing what she does. Like, if it's not drugs, she's doing guys. So, yeah. So, Keyshia just wants the best for her mom. But at that point, her mom was not having it. So, she was like, listen, once you get settled in, I'm coming for you. She was like, okay. Her mom took her butterfly ring off her finger and put it on Keyshia's finger. And then Keyshia, you know, went on to LA. So now Keyshia's living out of a hotel. She started saving up some of her money. She had to find a job and stuff like that. So she starts getting this job as a hair braider. And while she was in town, she ran into one of her brothers. And her brother basically told her, listen, I got some people at this party that I want you to meet. I want you to come through. And stuff like that. There's going to be a whole bunch of celebrity people there. So come through and, you know, bring your demos and stuff like that. So after that, Keyshia shows up at the party. And she runs into Ron Fair. And basically, she gives him one of her demos that she made. She got enough songs that's a whole CD. So there was another guy that was with her. He was basically trying to, you know, get at her. But he was like, listen, why don't you come back to my place and I can get you started right away. She was like, listen, maybe my mama's child, but I ain't stupid. And he was like, listen, I don't follow. She was like, yeah, don't. I was like, whoa. Chick wasn't playing no game. So, you know, she didn't hear anything from them. So now it's been a year later. Come to find out, Ron came up to her shop where she was working at. And he basically told her, I love everything that you do. And, you know, we about to get this work done. So, meanwhile, there was Ron and Keyshia was talking outside. There was a guy that walked up. And he walked past them while he was on the phone. Next, you know, when she goes back in there, he's basically interjected himself into her conversation. He was like, listen, I almost got a deal. And he was like, listen, my name is Manny. And I could be your manager because you're going to need some people to look out for you and stuff like that. She was like, I got bills to pay. And so they ended up coming with an agreement. And he was like, listen, I can get you a show and you can make 10 bands. So basically, he was a man of his word. He got her some money and she was happy. She was counting up everything. So stuff was going great. She just got signed to A&M Records, I believe, or A&R Records with Ron Fair. And, you know, she started working on her album and stuff like that. So she was like wanting her mom to be there, but you know her mom was basically AWOL. So she got back in touch with her siblings, Elite and Nephi. And I'm not sure about her brothers or whatnot. I guess one of them, but you know, they don't really go into detail with the brothers. It's more like the sisters. So they get back in good terms. And you know, she takes them on a shopping spree to get all these clothes and stuff like that, but they still want to celebrate their mom because, you know, Keyshia said, like in the beginning, she was doing all this for her mom and for her family, basically put them on, get them where they need to be comfortably. So, you know, Keyshia goes to her celebration party. They still said that her mom wasn't there, but after everything was done, they're about to leave. And they see their mom outside. They was all happy. And then Elite was like, you probably don't remember me. She was like, listen, Elite Noel. And she gave them all a hug. Like, Neffy's the older sister, but I think Keyshia is the baby out of all of them, I believe. Or maybe just the baby girl. I'm not really sure, but, you know, she's going to go hard for her family. So, getting into it, after a while, you know, Keyshia started going to go with her music and stuff like that, doing press release and magazine and stuff like that. She got offered to do a show for BET about starring her family, and that I do remember watching it. It was really, really good. Until, you know, Frankie, you know, she went back to her old ways of doing the drugs and stuff like that, because Keyshia basically wants her mom to get healthy and get off the streets doing what she do. So she did try to do that. One time, Frankie let Keyshia stay with her, and while the house cleaner was cleaning up, she found a pipe, right? A drug pipe or whatever. And she brought it to Keyshia's attention. So at that time, Keyshia called Neffy, and the rest of them came to do like an intervention, to basically get her help that she needed and stuff like that. So she was out, she'll try. And after that, she also, during I think it was a photo shoot or whatever, she had to get done. She ends up meeting Daniel Gibson, which is, she called him Gib, but he goes by Booby. They started getting together, and, you know, long story short, they ended up getting married, and they had a son named DJ. And eventually things didn't go well, because Daniel wanted her to stay home and be more of a family person, but she also got to work and stuff like that, because everything around that time, he wasn't really playing ball like he said he was playing ball, which it wasn't real life. He wasn't really playing like that. So he felt like neglected, so he would go out and cheat on her. So she found that out. Some point in time, she was like able to forgive him, but then at the last straw, she was like, listen, it's over with. You constantly keep doing this. And basically his way of cheating was because she wasn't there for him physically like he wanted her to, but she also has a career. Her music career was kicking off. Like, you want to push her back 10 times just so you can get ahead once? No. So eventually she decided to go for a divorce. They decided to split up. So I think around this time, DJ's probably like 3 or 4 years old or somewhere around there. And, you know, her business, her career is going good. Also, her mom and them started going back and forth at it again. And then Neffy and Frankie, they, I guess, with the help of Manny went behind her back. That was some shady stuff, like, and tried to get Frankie and Neffy a show, because their original show got canceled after season 4 because of what Frankie was doing. She basically was doing the drugs. Keyshia basically put Frankie on. She got them a job. She got a job at a radio show host. And, you know, it was good for a while until, you know, she got back on the drugs. It was like Frankie would be Frankie. You can't force nobody to change until they're willing to change for themselves. So that was that. Fast forward, after the divorce or whatever, stuff like that, a couple of years down the line, Keyshia goes to like this poetry reading, and she ends up meeting this young man named Nico or Nikhil. And, you know, they started hitting it off. Next, you know, she gets pregnant, and she has her beautiful son, Tobias. Like, amazing. And then she realized after a while, like, it just wasn't working. So they decided to call it quits. But they remained on good terms, you know, friends or whatever. So that was good. Long story short, Frankie went back to doing the drugs that she was doing. And it's just like, I can only do so much. So right before Frankie's birthday, or on her birthday, she was supposed to go meet up with Keyshia or whatnot. And Keyshia was calling her to wish her happy birthday. Her mom turns her phone off. And yeah, she basically died on her birthday of a drug overdose. Yeah, it was so sad. Like, watching the movie now and to actually watching how Keyshia did everything in the spotlight in real life, it was just like, I could just hear Frankie and see Frankie's voice in Debbie Morgan. Debbie Morgan played an excellent role as Frankie. And the girl that was supposed to portray Neffy, oh my gosh, she did an amazing job as well. Like, oh my God, this was so good. Like, I honestly see why Keyshia wanted to do this, because it's like you get a more in-depth insight of how her life was. And like she said, everybody's not perfect, but to help heal somebody else, help somebody heal their own scars, is an amazing thing to do, and this was really great, and I'm glad I got a chance to watch it, because it was like I really got to see a side that they really didn't show and talk about Keyshia like that. But this was just everything. Rest in peace, Frankie. You will truly be missed. And I really enjoyed watching this. It was really, really good. So I basically been watching it the whole weekend. So I'm great on this. Like, and I also record this, so I will be watching it back soon. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review. And y'all can check it out on Lifetime. And y'all will not be disappointed. So with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.